Hello beautiful people, let's get started with today's look. My face is primed and my eyes are primed with both of these products, and we're going to be starting off with the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette. I'm going to be dipping into the shade Icy Me, or In Case You Missed It, and I'll be focusing the shade on the upper portion and kind of in the crease as well. I will also be building up the shade on the outer portion of the lid. Using the shade Meadow, I'll be using a super light hand and blending out Icy Me, or In Case You Missed It, and just making sure that I blend out and diffuse that area so it's not like a really harsh line. With the shade Feel Free, I'll be using this to define the crease and also packing it on the outer portion, kind of like the outer third of the lid space. Going back into the shade Icy Me, I'm just using this shade to blend out the area where we just added that depth. And y'all know what time it is, y'all see that concealer. So right now I'm going to be carving out my lid space, so I'm carving out pretty much like the 2/3 area, like I'm leaving a little portion of the lid, as you can see, not touched by the concealer, but just packing that on, filling it in. Then I'm going into my Lovebird palette and I'm going to be picking up the shade Peacocky. So if you have a light pink base, that would definitely be better, since like my concealer was flesh toned. I felt like it altered the pink shift just a little bit, but once I packed it on, like it showed up a lot better, the shade. But if you have a light pink base, like now's the time to bust it out, use that instead. Going back to Sweet Talk palette, I'm picking up the shade Feel Free, so I'm just going back in and defining the crease since I felt like it was a little bit lost after I carved out the lid space. And I'm just going back in with a fluffy brush to blend everything out. Dipping back into the Lovebird palette, I'm going to pick up the shade On a Lark, so I'm using this to transition in between that lid space color and the depth of the darker shade that we have. So I'm just using it to kind of blend out that area. I'm placing it on the lid space diagonally to kind of help with the shape I'm trying to go for. Then I'm going to be picking up the shade No Egrets and I'm placing it right next to On a Lark because I felt like that purple tone would help transition in that pink tone we just added on top of the brown of the Feel Free, that depth, like just adding like a really nice transition between the pinks into like the warm coral browns that we have. And as you can see, I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation that's in the shade Ebony, and I'm using my beauty blender that's damp with water to blend everything out. And then the contour, y'all know what it is. Y'all know it's the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks in the shade Espresso. It's the same thing. Every time it's the same thing. And then the highlight, I know y'all know what it is. I know y'all know what it is, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks in the shade Suede. To set everywhere on my face that I have highlighted, I'm going to be using my Kat Von D Beauty Translucent Powder, so I'm picking this powder up with my Beauty Blender and pressing it into the skin. Then to set everywhere else, I'm going to be using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deep. Moving back to the eyes, I'm going to be grabbing my NYX Suede Lip Liner in the shade Club Hopper and placing it in my waterline and on the lower lash line. Then I'm going into the Lovebird palette and picking up the shade No Egrets. I will be placing this on the lower portion of the lid and kind of like the outer third, if you will. Then I'm dipping into the shade On a Lark and I will be using this to fill in the rest of the lower lash line. Going back into the Sweet Talk palette, I'm going to be picking up the shade West Side and I'll be using this to blend out the lower lash line. Then I'm grabbing my Kat Von D tattoo liner in the shade Trooper Black and I'm applying a very thin line of liner on my lash line to prep for my lashes. Moving back to the face, I'm going to be going in with my ColourPop blush in the shade Parakeet. For my highlight, I'm going to be using the ABH Moonchild Glow Kit and I'm picking up the shade Pink Heart. So I'll be applying this to all the areas of my face that I want to highlight. And I will say it definitely helps to wet the brush when you're applying this highlight. It does kind of have a white cast until you blend it out. So definitely wet the brush if you want more of an intense, easier highlight. For lips, I'll be lining my lips with the Melt Cosmetics Edible Lip Liner. So I'm starting off with grabbing my Colored Rain Fever Liquid Lipstick. We're doing a little bit of a combo today, so I'm going to be applying that to the lips first. And then on top of that, I will be putting my Melt Cosmetics Dark Room Matte Lipstick. And as y'all can see, it makes this beautiful rich plum shade. And to finish this entire look off, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Illuminating Mist and Set Spray. And here's our completed look. That's it for today's look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me create it. Bless up, and until next time, sending out much peace, love, and enlightenment. Bye guys.